The Walking Dead used to be special. I can't speak for the show, but from my understanding was a masterclass in writing tension and existential dread, and for the longest time dominated TV for the better part of the 2010s. It was a show that pushed boundaries, not through an overarching series of storylines, but achieved a meteoric level of popularity due to its straightforward plot and the easy to understand motives of its characters, interspliced with chilling revelations that made the audience question the legitimacy of the story they've been following for so long. And with a diehard fanbase enthralled by the character of Rick Grimes and his journey, it was inevitable that the franchise would eventually evolve past the simple TV and into the realm of interactive media. There's not really much I can say about Telltale's The Walking Dead series that hasn't already been said. The Walking Dead, for the most part, was just like the show, eerie, gripping, and again a masterclass in building tension and drama, and single-handedly gave us one of the greatest protagonists in all of entertainment, and over the years has been solidified for many as Telltale's magnum opus. I could go on and on about how Telltale's The Walking Dead is, in my opinion, a perfect example on how to make an interesting and relatable main character, and how to deliver a fitting end to their story. And maybe one day I'll make a video on this subject, but today I'll be bringing your attention away from its story and to its presentation, more specifically its art style. Like the show in its earlier seasons was restricted, modest, and at points beautiful in how simple it was, and unlike its later iterations didn't need flashy visuals to keep your attention, as its story and writing of its characters was enough to keep you invested. Now it's so over the top, nonsensically messy and noisy for no reason. Season 1's art style was simple, easy to follow and recognize, and aside for its outdated, clunky and jittery animations at some points, was incredibly charming. I don't know if it's just nostalgia, it's just the way a lot of these environments were crafted that made them feel so homely. I don't even really know what I mean by that. It's just how dense the environments used to be and how compact they were. It created a sense of space and understanding of where the characters were. The drugstore, the motel, the friggin' fucking farm. This strays out of the realm of art style and more into the game design side of things, is that the more compact the environment, the more dense the content within it becomes, and as a result it makes it easier to guide the player to points of interest. And I think this choice was made more to cut down on costs, but also as a deliberate creative decision, and this concept carried over to the second season with, in my opinion, the best version of The Walking Dead's art style to date, with the budget being way bigger than its predecessor, patching up the visual shortcomings that plagued the first season. Better animations, better lighting, a thicker atmosphere, and don't get me wrong, the second season still has dense environments. The second season also does boast a larger amount of open areas for the player to explore and interact with. The character design was also on point, other than Troy and maybe some others. Everyone had their own style, all recognizable, with their appearances all feeding into their personality. The art style of a game seems like such an inconsequential thing, but honestly the first and second season's art style really did create an unrivaled atmosphere. The haze of the sun, the grunginess of the streets, the barren and emptiness of the fields. With one word I can describe all of them. That's how memorable they were. Come season 3 and God in heaven, what happened? Before I say anything, the third season, the shot of Harvey running, desperately trying to make it back to his family before his dad passes away, said more about him than any piece of dialogue could. The infection slowly being revealed to us through the tragic passing of his father was perfect, and that's really it. The rest of this game is complete garbage. But do you remember how I said like 30 seconds ago?
Like the show in its earlier seasons was restricted, modest, and at points beautiful in how simple it was, and unlike its later iterations didn't need flashy visuals to keep your attention, as its story and writing of its characters was enough to keep you invested. Now it's so over the top, nonsensically messy and noisy for no reason.
The art style of the first and second season created a rich, distinct and gripping atmosphere, an atmosphere that defined the tone of the series and set the precedent for season 2's eventual sequel.
I mean, you could give me one, maybe.
What the fuck?
Well, no, because I didn't say any of that. But even if I did, with all that came before it, did anyone think that season 3 would look like this? Oh! What happened? The first season's art style was simple, thick, weighty outlines over a distinct 3D model, with cell shading to make up the finer details such as wrinkles and chin folds.
Dad, you can't get... Easy!
Oh, God.
Dad?
You're freaking worthlessly.
Sure, it was plain, but the game made up for it with an exceptional story. Two things every season after 2 could never replicate, no matter how hard they tried. Season 4 sucks, by the way.
Why you boring me? I'm right.
Season 3's art style is just so goddamn ugly and downright revolting at some points.
Holy jeez, what is that? What the fuck is that?
Like, it's genuinely sad to think that Kenny went out sad in this shitty season as a fucking cripple looking like the visual manifestation of bacteria.
Is this
That's another thing. Everyone looks so retarded. Everyone from the previous seasons look fat and chubby, greasy and wet for no reason. Even the environments are a downgrade. Just a visual mess. No open spaces to explore. Unlike the second season where I had the best of both worlds. All gone. Some parts of the game even looking unfinished. The first season was very contained in its story, and even when shit got real and the action got ramped up, it was a realistic escalation of events, subdued and restricted. conflicted. Just two people talking was enough of a conflict to satisfy players when it came to drama. That scene when Lee is going off on Larry is iconic and set the stage for what Lee was willing to do to keep the people he cared about safe. The second season only being a slight step up with only 2 action set pieces at very pivotal points of its story. In season 3, everything explodes. Literally everything. It's like the writers thought that if shit isn't blowing up every 5 seconds that people would get bored or something. So now they have to manufacture all this drama for no discernible reason, just for the writers to kill off disposable characters no one cared about. And the characters we started to care about died anyway. This nigga dies, then this nigga dies, then this nigga dies, and then this nigga dies, and then this nigga dies, and then this. It's so flaccid. It's so bad that they literally just give us an automatic conflict generator as David. This guy literally just shoots people for no reason. You might be wondering, what does this have to do with the art style? Well, you see, with the influx of dumbass action set pieces, the game at most parts, aside from just looking ugly, can't keep up with its own visuals. With the frame rate tanking just trying to process all these zombies due to it needing to work overtime with the art style. The second season could do this without a hitch. Why can't season 3? This dilemma reminds me of another situation, coincidentally about another game having to live up to its predecessor. The Force Unleashsed was at a point in time where Star Wars was at its peak when it came to creativity, and even after the prequels has become a beloved part of Star Wars lore, and up until Disney fucked it all up, left a lot to the imagination to where the franchise could go next. But to display what I mean, we'll have to look at a specific aspect of the game itself.
Fear the feeble attack, my faithful. Nothing will stop the return of the Sith!
The lightning. It was cold as shit. The first game's lightning felt like a storm, brewing, building, developing, rising, almost like the calm before the storm, growing and swelling until it was masterful. The sound design, the rumble of the controller, the visual evisceration of enemies on screen. It genuinely made a dark, fat, crispy critter like me feel like powerful. I've been missing out the walk with the minute. Come the second game and it's just so pathetic. Like I'm lighting my stove or something. From the literal storm swelling inside me. What? Waiting for the perfect opportunity to erupt forth from my fingers and destroy all my enemies. What the fuck is this video? What I'm trying to say, just like the Force Unleashsed 2, its predecessor was slicker, more efficient, and generally just better at conveying what it wanted to say, and the story it wanted to tell, with less resources too. It was excellent without having to bog down its story in order to shoehorn in nonsensical action scenes in an attempt to keep their audience from falling asleep while playing it. At the end of the day, The Walking Dead Season 3 is just a watered down, cheaply made piece of garbage. Knock knock. Thanks for watching the video. Just checking in to ask if you'd be willing to subscribe to my Patreon. Okay, cool. Jokes aside, just here to tell you that I have a Patreon. As most of you know, I don't make any money off this channel, essentially making me broke. But I don't have to, as for the small price of £12 a month. Yes, only 12.
Brother, this guy stinks!
I know 12 is pretty steep, but hear me out. Behind the scenes footage, process videos, director's commentary, unreleased videos, access to all my scripts, and early access to all my videos 2 days before they get dropped. I can't speak.
Oh, bro.
And early access to all my videos 2 days before they drop on this channel. But yeah, I go over 4 hours worth of content on Patreon, and it'll only grow as you guys continue to support me. And also, don't feel like you need to donate. Just you guys subscribing, liking, and watching my videos is enough. Well, no, it's not, but I kind of have to say that. But yeah, it's optional. But it would really help if you pledged. But again, no pressure. Also, subscribe. I'm trying to make it to 10K before the end of the year. Okay, that's it. See ya.